Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of our Care Chat. I'm your host, Christopher MacLellan. You might know me as the Bowtie Guy. On this month's Care Chat, we are featuring, in their own words, winners from our 2021 Caregiving.com Visionary Award celebration. The annual Caregiving Visionary Awards honors individuals and organizations that act as beacons of hope for family caregivers and for former family caregivers like myself. Our Caregiving Visionary Awards is our way to sincerely thank all caregivers for their tireless efforts as advocates for their loved ones, as advocates for themselves, and as advocates to foster change in our healthcare system, which is definitely needed. Well, enough from me. Let's meet our Visionary Caregiving Award winners. This year, the Visionary Caregiver Award recognized 4 individuals who developed or implemented an innovative way to support family caregivers or former family caregivers. First up, meet Alexandria Drain. Alex is the co-founder and CEO of Archangels, a startup company devoted to uplifting our family caregivers. You are going to love Alex's genuine, positive energy. Take it away, Alex.
My name is Alexandra Drain. I am the CEO and co-founder at Archangels, and I'm incredibly honored to be here. Thank you. Thank you for you guys putting this on, taking the time that you did to find innovative ideas and solutions and people and humans and bodies that are really doing their best to support this extraordinary population of unpaid caregivers out there. We actually refer to them as archangels because we think they're badass warrior angels who are spreading their wings out over these people that they're caring for. And we're fierce believers that being an unpaid caregiver is a job, and we want you to get credit for that job. So when you get a chance, go over to archangels.org and download that badge. If you feel like maybe there's a gap in your resume because you took a couple years off to care for the person that you love, that's not a gap. You are gaining invaluable skills as you did extraordinary work. And we hope employers start fighting over hiring you, because those skills are transferable and they are extraordinary. And you, Archangels, never take no for an answer. You get that job done and you get it done well. Our economy relies on you. But that job, like any other job, has intensity. So we also want to get you supported in that intensity. So head over to archangels.me, find out, get validated. Are you in the green, yellow, or red? Get your score. And most importantly, get supported, get transferred over to resources that help reduce that intensity and increase your resilience at the same time. There are so many of those resources that exist, but most people don't know about them. They're too tired, or they've tried to look for resources before and they couldn't find them. Go to caregiving.com. Look at all the resources they have. Go to your state and go to archangels.me and look at the resources that we have. The message I have for unpaid caregivers is you are extraordinary. You are not alone, and the work that you're doing is unbelievably precious. We know it's some of the most important work you'll ever do. We also know it's some of the hardest. So just recognize that survival, getting through each and every moment, finding the bright spots when you can. Have a red phone. Tell that red phone they are your red phone, and call them when you need to blow off some steam. Maybe that red phone is a caregiver concierge at your employer or work site. Figure out who that red phone is before you actually need them, so you can tap into it whenever you have one of those moments. And then, as importantly, most caregivers are also having somebody care for them. And a message to all of us out there who see a caregiver anywhere: don't ask a caregiver, how can I help you? Just help them. Go fill a fridge, say, I see you, thank you for what you're doing. Any, opportunity you have to sit down with somebody and watch over the person that they're caring for, give them a break. That break could be just 2 hours, it could be 2 minutes. Be their red phone. And again, thank you to all the caregivers out there for what you're doing. We see you. We think you frickin' rock. Mwah.
You are certainly an archangel, Alex. Well done. And if you'd like to learn more about the great work Alex is doing, listen to episode 2 of our very popular How We Got Here podcast featuring Alex, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Now I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Allison Applebaum. Enriched by her own personal caregiving journey with her father, Dr. Applebaum has dedicated her career to supporting family caregivers.
My name is Allison Applebaum, and I'm an associate attending psychologist at Memorial Sun Kettering Cancer Center in New York. In 2011, I founded the Caregivers Clinic at MSK, the first clinic of its kind in the world to provide targeted psychosocial support to family members and friends of patients at MSK. Soon after I began the Caregivers Clinic, I stepped into my own caregiving journey. My father, who was in his early 90s, was diagnosed with advanced Lewy body dementia. After a shot of Zyprexa in an emergency room hallway put him into a coma. He spent several months in the hospital. Soon after he finally returned home, my mom died suddenly, and I stepped formally into the primary care role. From that point until 2019, when my father passed, I served as his eyes and his ears, navigating the complexity of our healthcare system and living so many of the challenges that my patients have faced. While taking care of my father, I made a commitment to use all of my personal experiences to motivate my work moving forward. And as a result, I've developed supportive programs to help caregivers engage in very difficult conversations with their loved ones and members of the healthcare team. I've developed tools to help them to sit with the uncertainty that accompanies every day as a caregiver, and tools to help foster a sense of resilience despite the challenges of caregiving. My father was my best friend, and taking care of him was the greatest gift and honor of my life. Since his passing, I'm even more committed than ever before to developing support programs for caregivers and bringing national attention to caregiver burden as a healthcare crisis. My hope is that through my work, I can not only address the distress that all of us as caregivers face, but help to foster a sense of meaning, purpose, and strength despite the challenges of caregiving. It is such an honor to be nominated for the Caregiving Visionary Award. I'm incredibly grateful for this recognition.
Thank you, Dr. Applebaum, for sharing your personal story and your wisdom and your professional experience to help family caregivers. Well done. Now, let's meet Roberta Carson. You'll learn in Roberta's own words why it was important for her to start a nonprofit for caregivers to help manage illnesses and injuries.
Hi, my name is Roberta Carson, and I live in a Boston suburb with my husband. I became a family caregiver in 2005 when our 17-year-old son, Zach, was diagnosed with a DIPG, an inoperable brain tumor with a less than 2% survival rate. It was shocking to realize that our happy, funny, athletic child was never going to graduate from college, get married, or have kids. We quickly learned that being a caregiver is hard work. On top of dealing with the emotional strain of having a child with a terminal illness, we were overwhelmed with learning new medical terms, making difficult treatment decisions, managing complicated medication regimens, and coordinating care among multiple doctors. Although I was doing my best to manage Zach's care, there were times when I thought, why didn't anybody tell us this sooner? Or how come we didn't figure this out ourselves? Zach lived a relatively normal life until 18 months after his diagnosis, when brain swelling required the use of a high-dose steroid, which sadly caused a fatty deposit of tissue in his spinal column. Within 6 weeks, he went from fully mobile to completely paralyzed, unable to walk, talk, or swallow. We did our best to care for him at home, even though he was extremely ill. We had to perform a slew of nursing tasks with little or no instruction from professionals. And on top of all this, he needed care and attention 24 hours a day. 1 month before he died, a pulmonary embolism landed him in the ICU, the result of a deep vein thrombosis caused by his paralysis. We had tried to move him frequently throughout the day to avoid this complication, but sadly, whatever we did, it wasn't enough. Sadly, Zach died from respiratory failure at age 19, 27 months after his diagnosis. After he died, I was determined to continue raising money for DIPG research, but I also wanted to help other patients and families. I know how much we struggle with Zach's care, and I wanted to help others do a better job at managing their own care or the care of a loved one. So I started the nonprofit Zago to help others manage any kind of serious illness or injury. And I created the Zago Care system to provide information and tools that can help patients get the best possible care and outcome. Zago Care's 120-page guidebook is filled with tips to help patients and family caregivers know what to do at every step of the journey. And our tote bag and organizational tools make it easy to keep medical information organized and handy. To all of you caregivers watching this, you can do this. Take it one day at a time. Try to create some moments for yourself each day. Be an engaged member of your medical team. Stay organized and try to keep your sense of humor. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Roberta, for sharing your story on how you turned your grief into a mission that helps family caregivers navigate our complicated healthcare system. Very well done. Thank you. Now, let's meet, full disclosure here, one of my personal favorites, Roseanne Corcoran. Roseanne's popular Daughterhood the Podcast is critically acclaimed and helping people globally deal with their dementia caregiving journey.
I'm Roseanne Corcoran, creator, producer, and host of Daughterhood the Podcast for caregivers. I think I've always been a caregiver, but my dementia caregiving journey with my fiercely independent and beloved mother began 12 years ago. What started out as stealth caregiving moved into caregiving from a distance while mom was still living independently, and finally in-home primary sandwich caregiving for the last almost 6 years until her death this year. The people, professionals, and other caregivers I've been fortunate enough to meet, interview, and befriend through my 2 years of podcasting have changed my life and have shown me the importance of connection and support. As caregivers, we are isolated and feel so very alone, but there are people who represent those statistics we hear so often. Connection is the life preserver we all need. I thank caregiving.com for this award, for recognizing my work, and for the work they do. Ann Tumlinson for creating Daughterhood as a space where caregivers can connect and receive support from each other. My husband and children who have walked this journey with me, and my mother, who would think this was really something else. What I want to say to the millions of family caregivers across the country who show up every day and provide care: I see you, I am you, and I want you to know that you matter. There is support for you in Daughterhood circles at daughterhood.org and at support groups all across the country. Thank you.
Hey, Ro. Well, that's the name of Roseanne's blog. Thanks for sharing your story about love, care, and commitment. And yes, your mom would be proud. I'm sure you are aware that a growing number of younger people are taking on caregiving responsibilities. And our next category features two amazing people whose stories will definitely warm your heart. Our Young Adult, our Youth Caregiver Award, recognizes young nominees that either cares for a loved one or provides support to those who care. Meet Angelina Taylor. Angelina Caregiver's story began 6 years ago when her loving father had a stroke. She's turned lemons into beautiful lemonades. I know you're going to enjoy Angelina's story.
My name is Angelina Taylor, and I'm a caregiver for my father, Benjamin Taylor. My caregiving journey started when I was just 28 years old. I just started grad school at Wayne State University, pursuing my master's degree, and I had been enjoying my time traveling the world with my friends. Unfortunately, my father suffered a stroke in October of 2015, which left him immobilized. There isn't a manual anywhere that instructs people, what to expect when they're taking care of their loved one. So it's been quite the wild and crazy ride over the last 5-6 years. This journey has been an interesting one, but it's also given me a new purpose in helping other people navigate their care journeys. I've fortunately been able to use this experience as a caregiver, not only to advocate for my father and my needs as his caregiver, but to also give a voice to other caregivers out there. I've been a care fellow with the Caring Across Generations organization. I'm currently the 2021 Dole Caregiver Fellow for the Elizabeth Dole Foundation in their Hidden Heroes community, supporting military and veteran caregivers. And more recently, I've joined caregiving.com as a care champion. Another thing that I have learned throughout this journey is that there's multiple ways to amplify voices of caregivers. And with that purpose I've also been able to pursue pageantry and help elevate the voices of caregivers through pageantry. So right now I'm the International Miss Michigan 2022, and I'll continue to amplify voices of caregivers across the world. My message to other caregivers out there is that you're never alone. There's other caregivers out here that are going through the same journeys that you're going through. Even though it may look different for everyone, we're all in this together. And you also don't have to give up on your dreams. Even though it may temporarily put a pause on what you may be pursuing, there's ways for you to continue your education. There's ways for you to pursue the career that you want. And you may even discover that caregiving will lead you into a completely new career. The journey to your dreams may look different, but don't give up. I love you, Dad, and there's nothing that I wouldn't do for you. And to my fellow caregivers, we're all in this together, and we've got this.
Goodness, Angelina, thank you so much for sharing your compassion, your love, and your advocacy for all caregivers. Wow. Now I'd like you to meet our next youth, young adult honoree, Patty LaFleur. Patty's heartwarming caregiving story is all about giving back the love and joy that her mom has given to her.
Hi, thank you so much for the honor to share my story here with you in the caregiving.com community. So my name is Patty and I am the care partner for my mom, Linda. I have been caring for my mom for the last year and a half. She has dementia, she's in the mid to late stages, and she also has type 1 diabetes, which makes for kind of a complicated combination. Mom and I find joy in every day. A lot of times with a dementia diagnosis, there is a lot of sadness, and this is sad. It is a sad journey, but there's also joy and love and happiness that we can share every single day. We dance together, we do art together, we do music together, we paint together, we cook together, we laugh together, we watch movies together. We just find the joy and the love and the compassion in our dementia journey. I was fortunate enough that my mom adopted me when I was a baby, so this is just my opportunity to give back, to give her the same love and joy and wonderful life that she gave to me. So thanks again. Happy to share my story.
Thank you, Patty, for sharing your story and your wonderful photos with us. You are certainly giving back the love and joy to your mom. Job well done. Now let's move on to our next category, caregiving advocate. Without a doubt, advocacy is one of the most, if not the most important role of a family caregiver. And our Caregiver Advocate Award recognizes family caregivers and our former family caregivers who provide support in ways that make the caregiving experience better and easier for everyone. And this year's honoree, Betsy Wurzel Sloan, has been a caregiver all of her life and has learned to turn her anger with dementia into a positive, which has helped everyone become a better advocate.
Hi, my name is Betsy Wurzel, and I was a caregiver for my husband, Matthew Sloan, who had early onset Alzheimer's. My vision started in my car. That's where I was discovered by Jeannie White, who's station manager at Passionate World Talk Radio Network. And never did I think that I would have a podcast, but my podcast is to help other people, and the name of my podcast is Chatting with Betsy. I also started a group. I am creator and founder of #Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement, because I feel that no one should walk this journey alone during or after caregiving. What caregiving meant to me and what it means to me is unconditional love. Our loved ones cannot do anything back for us. And it's that deep soul connection that we have, that we feel them, they feel us. They know our love and they feel our love. Dementia cannot rob the heart of love. The message I have for caregivers is that you can not only survive caregiving, you can thrive during caregiving, but you have to take care of yourself. You have to find a purpose of what are you going to do after caregiving is over, and you have to take care of yourself so that you can enjoy life after caregiving. I am still a caregiver to my son Josh, who has special needs, and he was wonderful taking care of his dad. I couldn't have done the caregiving and working outside the home if it wasn't for my wonderful son, Josh. I am very grateful for this nomination. It is in Matt's memory. I know he's smiling down on me. And I just want to thank caregiving.com for this Caregiving Visionary Award nomination. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Very good, Betsy. And yes, you are kicking Alzheimer's ass. Well done. That is awesome. And now, new this year is our Inspired Innovation Award. The Inspired Innovation Award recognizes those who use their personal inspiration in order to innovate support for family caregivers and meet our inaugural Inspired Innovation Award honoree, Ashley Jackson. Ashley has taken her caregiving knowledge, passion for event planning, and her kind and gentle heart and launched a wonderful program for caregivers called the Timeless Dream Events.
Hello, my name is Ashley Jackson, and I am a caregiver, wife, author, caregiver advocate, and event planner extraordinaire. I am so excited to just say thank you. Thank you for highlighting family caregivers. We really appreciate it. My caregiving journey started back in 2017 when my fiance was diagnosed with a rare cancer in stage 4. Needless to say, it was quite a shock. We were planning our engagement party. We had to immediately switch that up and start planning how we were going to get him an hour and a half away each way to his chemotherapy and radiation appointments. We were able to get married in 2018, and then in March of 2020, he was deemed cancer-free. I wanted to let other family caregivers know that they are not alone. So I picked up this mantle of my caregiving advocacy through my event planning business that was launched in July 2020 called Timeless Dream Events, where we provide any type of event for the terminally ill and their family members, their loved ones. And I decided in June of 2021, so this year, to document all that we had been through, my husband and I, in a book. So I am also an author. In my book and all of the talks and podcasts I've been a part of, my biggest thing for caregivers is please take care of yourself. I realized that if I didn't fill my own cup, I wasn't going to be able to fill up my husband's. I hope you will find something that you can do, even if it's 3 minutes here, 30 minutes there, 1 hour, that will provide you some peace and joy in your day, because you deserve peace and joy. And again, I just want to say thank you to caregiving.com for recognizing what we go through, and thank you for my award.
What an awesome idea, Ashley. Thank you for your commitment to helping family caregivers. Well, finally, the TANDY Spirit Award symbolizes a commitment to caring and support that goes above and beyond. And it is a beautiful memorial to our very own Tandy Elias. So please meet our 2021 Tandy Spirit Award winner, Dana Territo. Dana, take it away.
Hi, I'm Dana Territo, and I am so humbled to accept the TANDY Spirit Award. I follow her spirit because she was such an amazing woman, what I've read. I wish I would have had a chance to meet her. And I thank her children, Amanda, Sarah, and Stephen, for continuing her wonderful legacy. I'm so humbled to receive this award. I guess I was a caregiver starting 11 years old, but I didn't know it. My parents moved me into my grandmother's room, who was in her own cancer journey. And I would give her cold compresses at night when she'd have night sweats or fever, and just hold her hand. And didn't realize that 11 years old that I was a caregiver. So fast forward to when I was an adult and got married, moved into another state, had 2 sons, and I really missed that grandmother presence. And so I volunteered at a local nursing home. They paired me with a lady named Peggy, and she was in her late 80s, vivacious, joyful, loved children, loved to laugh, loved to sing. I journeyed with her through Alzheimer's for 22 years. She was 102 when she passed away. And every time when I meet her, we would sing Amazing Grace. And even in the late stages of Alzheimer's, she would have that flicker of the eye or her fingers that I knew she was present inside. And later those years, my father developed vascular dementia. He also had COPD. And though I wasn't his main caregiver, my mother who lived with him was, his children were surrounded him and tried to assist my mother and him in any way we could. But if there was one thing I could share with caregivers, I would share, create those moments of joy. It was so wonderful in my dad's last months, whether I was taking him to the doctor's appointment or just sitting with him, and he would tell me wonderful stories about being in World War II, mainly all the pranks he would play on his fellow comrades. He even told me stories about my grandfather, his dad, that I never knew because my grandfather died at a very early age. And I was so fortunate and blessed to have those stories. I journaled them, and now they are just such a lovely reminiscing of my dad after he passed away. So create those moments of joy. You don't know how important it is. I know you have a hard journey. Caregiving is very difficult and challenging, but find those moments of the day to just create that joy, and you'll be blessed by it many times, I guarantee you. Thank you again. Thank you for the TANDY Spirit Award, and thank you to her children. Thank you to caregiving.com for this wonderful honor. I'm very humbled again. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dana, and thank you for your tireless commitment to caregivers and for keeping TANDY Spirit with us. Now, I know we've just kind of scratched the surface here, but there is a tremendous amount of information and a replay of our Visionary Awards on caregiving.com. I highly recommend checking out the wonderful video from Tandy's children as well. And congratulations to all our nominees and award winners. And thank you, caregivers, for everything you do, because we are all in this journey together. Wishing you and your family happy holidays and a very wonderful new year. And be sure to stay tuned to caregiving.com for all the up-to-date information that you need as a caregiver. I'm your host, Christopher MacLellan. We'll see you for another episode of Care Chat in January. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.